this is Coach Mariam Ishaq, and today I'm going to be talking to you about barefoot training. So you must be wondering, what does barefoot training have to do with this show? Well, during Ramadan, a lot of us are going to be fasting from home. And a lot of us might be going to the office and coming back. But anyways, in all cases, while you're at home, it's a great opportunity to set your feet free. So the reason why I'm going to talk a little bit about barefoot training is because I want to highlight a little bit about the benefits of improving your posture, improving your muscle activation, and a lot of things just simply by taking your shoes off. Can you imagine? So simple, right? Well, so let me take you through a little bit of an exercise now. So imagine that you're wearing a glove in your hand and you're walking around most of your day wearing that glove in your hand. So as you're moving around, as you're touching things and picking things up, what starts to happen? What do you think? So if you never take your gloves off, what do you think is going to happen? When you take the gloves off, you're actually not going to be able to feel what you're touching, right? So your receptors start to get affected with time. So the same thing applies to our feet. Now imagine your feet are the foundation of your movement. They're the first thing that touches the floor when we move. So if you're restricting your feet all the time, imagine what happens. So we wear the socks, right? And this is what happens to our toes. Instead of being like that, they're like this. So imagine yourself walking around with your toes like that the entire time. And even better, imagine wearing shoes on top of that. Oh my God, the toes are suffocated. So especially those pointy shoes where, ladies, you know what I'm talking about with the heels. Your toes are literally sitting on top of each other, right? And the guys with the pointy formal shoes. So you can imagine our poor feet are suffering all of the time. So I just want to bring to your attention that whether you're in the office, whether you're at home, whether you're training, how important it is to really pay attention to your feet and let your feet free, okay? So let's take a movement, for example, such as the lunge, okay? So if you're standing in a position like this, where your feet are out to the side and you're trying to lunge. Now imagine like you're wearing a big, thick shoe. What do you think that's gonna feel like? It's gonna feel heavy. It's not gonna feel comfortable, right? And in essence, your toes are not even touching the floor. So for most of us, so if you're a gym goer and if you train, what's gonna happen is if you're wearing these big, thick shoes and socks and all of that, what's happening is you're not even touching your toes to the floor while you're training. So just imagine what your coordination is like, what the balance is like, right? So if you do single leg movements, you find yourself wiggling around the entire time, right? So, and that's not purely because of you, it's actually because of what your foot is accustomed to. So when you're doing a squat, for instance, you're standing here and then your foot is either like this or like that. So it's not really stable on the floor. So what happens is when you take your shoes off, you're actually allowing your toes to touch the ground. And what happens there is that you are improving the nervous reaction. So your receptors in the feet have all the nerves. And that means that you're enhancing the quality of the signals that are going to your brain and therefore better muscle activation. Voila! So that means you get better range of motion, you get safer movements, you have more stability, more coordination, and trust me, once you try squatting, lunging, or deadlifting without shoes, you're never going to want to wear them again. Trust me. Now the thing is, I'm not telling you again to take your shoes off and run in the streets. Obviously not, right? So I'm going to advise you to take it step by step. So if you're doing low impact training, like weight training, for example, try doing your movements without shoes and allow your toes to open up and separate and breathe and stabilize your foot into the floor. You're going to see a huge difference in how, for example, in a deadlift, how your glutes and your hamstrings are going to be on fire, right? You're going to find yourself very stable. So try that. And then as you progress, as the flooring has, as the gyms have padded flooring, then you could start to do things with more jumps. However, you take it step by step. Ideally, you can do plyometrics without shoes, but that's more of an advanced level. I'm not saying that you have to start with that. It's kind of your end goal where you want to reach. So you can go from, walking to jumping to weightlifting without shoes, where you have good balance and coordination. So if you're somebody that doesn't go to the gym, but actually go to the office, for example, and you're stuck wearing socks and shoes and everything, so what I would recommend for you is in between your meetings, try to take off your shoes, take off your socks, maybe wear some slippers, let your feet free, okay? And then in between, when you have your meetings, you can wear your shoes back again and life moves on, right? So, and of course, when you're at home, you can do the same. You can take your shoes off and just let your feet free. Unless you have a certain condition that doesn't allow you to keep your feet directly onto a cold floor, that's another story. But I just want you to allow your feet to touch the floor to improve your connection with the ground, because that's the foundation of our movement. Majority of our movement, or all of our movement, comes from the feet. So if we don't take care of our feet and allow them to be free, then what's the point? So I also would suggest, if you don't want to purely just do barefoot training, you can actually use shoes. However, there are different brands out there that are really nice, that allow you to open up, create a gap between your toes and really stabilize yourself during training. And there are actually some that are made for outdoors, for running, for walking, indoor training, so many, for swimming, so many out there. So I just want you to think the next time you wear your shoes, what you're doing to your feet, okay? So take care of your feet, and I hope you create happy feet after this episode, and I hope to see you soon. Take care.